Hey, good morning. I am on the wrong tab. I was like, the song was over, and I was like, but wait, where is it? Oh,
Is it
Lisa.
one of those days, Chuck?
I think it might be. Welcome to the show. You're still with us. Congratulations, surviving the week of Avery. Well done.
It went very well. Thank you to all. It's funny. It's like, the things that I want to say, it sounds like I'm complaining, but it's like, I loved all the people wishing me happy birthday by phone, by text, by birthday cards, by
That's
Facebook messaging. It was a lot of fun. And it was, it's really cool to see the different ways that you're connected to people. Like obviously, if I look at my Facebook channel, there's a ton of friends from real estate. And then I've got friends from high school, friends from college, and Rotary if you look at my social media, it's like, 40% real estate, 40% Rotary, and then 20%, people I go have a drink with on a Saturday night. It's kind of a funny mix.
Okay. Well, those are your communities.
Yes.
So absolutely. Okay. Cool. So to recap the week, walk us through what let's do
this is so funny. No, so it was, I'm a happy-go-lucky person most of the time, right? I can find the positive in most situations. And Buffalo is great. And I will say, so part of it, which we talked about last week, was going to see Justin Timberlake, right? So, and I was with some serious Justin Timberlake fans.
Wow.
And so, of course, and then seeing all the people after the show, like connected with me who were so close and this and that. And I said to the group that I was with, I said, you know what I'm looking for while we're here? I'm like, I'm pretty sure the cast of Hamilton is at this concert. And so that's who I was looking for, because there's no show on Monday night. So I'm thinking they would want to go see.
That overlaps.
Right?
I mean,
so sometimes you'll get the actors who post like during the show, they'll post things that are going on, right? And others will wait until the show is over, and then they'll do like a collage, a montage of what they did in the city that the performance was just at. And there was a lot of the cast at Justin Timberlake. So I was like, oh, and I was trying to judge by the pictures where they were, how close they were, stuff like that. But, and again, I just love to see like, how many of those actors went to Niagara Falls, and I wonder, like, I want to know, was that the first time you went to the falls, right? First time you ever saw Niagara Falls?
Did you call them and say, do you need a tour guide, right? Do you need to know the top 5 places in Hamburg? Do you know about Hamburg? It's a big seat. It's like, once you get outside of Buffalo, nobody really, and people eat hamburgers all the time, and
they don't even know where they're from.
They don't even know. Like,
I loved that one of the people was at Duff's, because I do think Duff's has some pretty good wings. And another one was at some wineries. I'm like, I'm like, I like it when people who have, if all you've ever heard of Buffalo is snow, and then you come, like, it's gonna be 75 degrees today. Like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
You get to see our city in different ways. And so I really loved seeing that. I love seeing when they when they do that. So it was pretty cool.
What are you gonna do? I mean, you're on a new trip around the sun. You're on a new orbit, and next year, I mean, how are you gonna top? How's 2025 Week of Avery gonna top 2024? It's like 2 Hamilton gigs.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel
they're
like
not gonna be playing. There's not gonna be a traveling Hamilton tour in Buffalo next year.
no, no.
No. Mm,
Although I did say, so I had a nice conversation with one of my kids on my
mhm.
birth. I had a nice conversation with both of my kids. I have 2 kids, but one of them who lives in Vermont, we had a really nice conversation, and that's my big Hamilton fan in the family. And we were kind of talking about it's a shame that they couldn't get to Buffalo to see it. And I'm like, well, let's watch. And so if anybody knows if Hamilton's coming to Albany or somewhere, I mean, they must have a good theater in Albany.
Oh
Um,
yeah, of course.
Closer to Burlington, Vermont. I would love to go see it with my Spencer, who is a big Hamilton fan.
Okay.
Um, so I will say also during the week, my older child, Maxwell, was in town. He was the best man at a wedding this past weekend. So congratulations to
Very
Marco and
nice.
Aaron.
Aw.
Everything was a great event. Uh, and so we were talking a little bit about this show. You can see I have my arms folded as I bring this up because my son said something like, well, you need to be fighting. Like, you need some more drama. You need conflict. And I'm like, well, that's what Chuck always says, argue. And I don't want to argue and have it recorded. So, and then I was trying to remember the few times that you brought something up and I said, I don't want to talk about that. I don't agree with that. And so I was trying to remember things
Yeah.
that we don't agree on, which in a way leads into what you were talking about, wanting to talk about,
Yeah.
which is there is an overwhelming amount of change, technology, tools, communication methods, not even just communication styles. You can have a style that's direct or flowery, and the way that we communicate can get to be so different.
Yeah.
Um, I argue with fellow realtors on what's the best way to send properties to your clients, right? Like, is
Okay.
it best to use Real Scout? Is it best to use your MLS? Is it best to
Yeah.
use Zillow? Like, how do you get information to your clients?
Yeah. How do you, yeah. What is the best way? I took a buyer on a tour last Saturday and we started at Santora's on Transit and we toured through a couple East Amherst properties. Uh, and it's funny. I think you said in our stats show last week, you said, Chuck, I'm surprised by your dollars per square foot in
Mhm,
Rochester, right?
right?
I see why you're surprised by our dollars per square foot. I was going through these properties and my head was about to explode. I said, wow. Uh so anyway, so you Buffalo realtor, stay in Buffalo. You're good. Don't Buffalo's good. You're good. You don't need to come to Rochester. Um so anyway, what is the best way? So, and speaking of that, that client is always sending me usually screenshots from Zillow, like, "Hey, this popped up. I like this," and I say, "Oh, that's fantastic." You know, their Zillow has a value, a certain value, and I appreciate that. And but I did connect him onto my Real Scout app, and I put him on a search, and I let him know. I said, "This is an easier way for you. At least it's easier for me. I don't know necessarily if it's easier for you." I think it's the same. I really don't think it's easier or, harder or whatever. I think it's just the same. But for me, it's easier, so it's a win. Um, be honest with your peeps, right? Come on, they're
Yeah.
hiring you. This is so. Anyway, so yeah, that was that. So we're doing that, and it's working out good.
I think, talking about why you're recommending one tool over another. What's the benefit? Like, I think
Hmm.
that helps too. Like when you say to someone, "Hey, I would prefer that you use this tool, and here's
Hmm.
why," or "Here's what the information is." Um,
Hmm.
Regarding it, and what makes it easier to see or not see, even in an open house, right? Like, how are you? It's funny, like our feature sheets. Everyone has a preferred way to print out a sheet. We still, as much as we
Yes.
love technology and we're going to email them afterwards and follow up
Hmm.
electronically, if you want to hand someone a piece of paper at an open house, what does it look like?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
how does it stand out, right? So we have great
Yeah.
in presentations, you can make a nice, flyer. We have, like, I don't know, a dozen different formats, and if we have a dozen, 9 of them are gonna be a portrait layout, and 3 of them are gonna be landscape, and I always pick the landscape, and I encourage agents to pick the landscape
Mhm.
because when you're grabbing your papers, it's gonna be a little different. It's gonna stand out. So we're always looking at those ways
Yeah.
to stand out and to be different when that um party gets home from looking at however many open houses and they've got a sheet from each one. If it's just a little different, they're going to remember, right? They're going to
Okay.
look and be like, oh, I remember that house, I remember that
Yeah.
agent.
Yesterday, actually, so today's Wednesday. What, the 30th? Yeah, tomorrow's Halloween. So yesterday was the 29th. So we had what was called our Reboot Tech Conference at the RIT in a conference center in Rochester. And yeah, I don't know how many agents were there. I didn't count. There was a good number though. We have sponsors and lenders and photographers and all sorts of good stuff. NISAR was there with a booth, to keep us updated with NISAR, and the gentleman Scott, I forget his last name, but he was there last year too. And yeah, and last year when I talked to Scott, he recognized me because the following month is when I was in the Realtor magazine for the question and answer section.
Mhm.
He goes, you look familiar. Oh, he goes, I think you're going to be in the next issue. I said, sweet. So Scott was there. So we were catching up with Scott, and then, but, oh,
So
I
much
lost
technology, so
so
many
much
things.
technology, so many things.
What did you pick up that you want to learn?
Well, that was really difficult. It was difficult to be in a room with different people, all different levels, challenging environment. That was really, it was an example of you can have a great, like, and this is like, I mean, I think I went to Reboot. It might have started my very first year back in 2015 or the year after but they do it a little differently than they used to. So it's like 10 years in though. I mean, this conference has been happening year after year for a good 10 years. And we still have challenges, like we had some tech challenges with some of this codes and interfaces and different things. Oh, and the thing, I was really ticked off because I stayed to the very end because I thought for sure I was going to win the grand prize drawing at the end, and you had to be there to win. And I, spoiler alert, I didn't win. They were giving away a really sweet drone, and I wanted it really bad. And if I could get one, but I wanted to win it, damn it. And son of a bitch, I didn't win. And but the gentleman who won it, earlier in the conference, was talking about open houses and how he's a newer agent on his team. He's with another brokerage, and he's doing a lot of open houses, and he said, he goes, here, he hands the open house over, please sign in. And he feels like he's getting a lot of uh Jojo Johnson, my at 123@gmail.com, responses. And so after, in the parking lot, I tried to buy the drone off him. And then, because I don't, but, and then I said, but honestly, I have another one I'm going to buy. So not a big deal. But I said, I want to talk to you about your open house thing you talked about earlier and the problem that you feel you're having. And I told him about staying in control, and don't hand the sheet to them and ask them to sign in. Start interfacing with that client, ask them questions, just be yourself, and I go, your success rate, it'll be a whole different ball game. You'll really start getting information from people. And I think he was really thankful for that. So I hope it works for him.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
we all, and I think that comes from us, being in leadership roles with our company and our offices. It's like, that's the biggest part of what we do is helping people grow and helping them find
Hmm.
new ways, or just, usually it's not, most life changes are not a 180-degree turn, right? It's like a 15-degree correction. Like, you're
Okay.
there, you're showing
Right.
up, you're doing the open house, you've got a good property, you're marketing it, and just that one little shift,
The
it's
sh-
that little ripple that's gonna
okay.
cause the wave to come.
The shortest distance between any 2 points is a zigzag.
Yeah, you just keep going
Just
until you
made that
get
up.
it right. Oh, is this when we're gonna argue?
No, I'm just
You're
being.
wrong.
I'm not wrong. Prove me wrong. All right. No, you're
Oh,
right. A little shift. I mean, you shouldn't be making dramatic reversals every year. Like business planning year to year. Your first year is the hardest, but after that, it really shouldn't be a big task. It should be a tweak of, and maybe it's not even a tweak. Maybe it's a continuation. You nailed it that year. You know what? You were super successful. You made your goals. You're on point. Just keep rolling.
yes.
Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. And I like to say if it's working, do more of it. Right? Like,
Right.
I love it. Like, when you're a kid and you get a report card and you've got 5 good grades and 1 bad one, everybody focuses on the bad one. In real estate, if there's an area that you don't like doing, it's not your, top thing, don't do it, right? You
So
hate open houses, don't do them. If you can be successful without it,
there,
perfect. Why are
there's a
you
great.
laughing at me?
Because your story makes me think of there's a great thought leader, a content leader online that I love. His name's Chris Do, and he tells a story about when his kid was taking Latin in high school. His kids are in high school, and I took Latin, and so I like I felt like I was into the story, and he says and Chris Do, full disclosure, he makes it a point in his things a lot. Because he's Asian, and he talks about the Asian community and cult and norms in the Asian community, like what the grading system is in the Asian community, like an A, B, C, D, E, and F. And F meant find a new family. Like D was don't come home. Or is that like A is average, right? A stands for average. And it's so fun. And he's so funny and he's so engaging. And he tells a story about his kid taking Latin and how he brought home a test and the kid had gotten a 15 on the test, and
Out of
how his
100?
out of 100, right? And his wife and boy's mom was like find a new family kind of thing. And he goes, honey, look, I think you're looking at this the wrong way. He got 15 right. Right.
See?
And so he went up. So he tells this great story. He goes up. The kid's in his room, right? He got sent to his room, and he goes up and he says, "Hey, bud." And he goes, he says, "Listen, you're gonna be fine. Blah blah blah. Keep up the good work." Right. And a month late, because and the kid was a strong student, of course, right? He's a hiccup, right? Don't overreact to a hiccup, right? And he
Yes.
said a month later, the kid's getting all the all the A's, all the average, and he's still in the family. So you have to look him up. He's really great. So Chris Do is his name. Little plug. We're not paid to say this. He doesn't even know I know who he is.
Well, you don't know that.
Oh, good point.
Um, yeah.
He probably watches the show. He's probably watching right now.
He probably is.
Maybe I should invite him.
Yes. No, but it's true. And that's what I love about real estate is that it's
Mhm.
a flexible career. I mentioned last week that our interns were starting this week. So we have Lauren and
Mm.
Nolly at the office today. Hopefully they're watching as part of their internship. And we can talk about doing an internship at a real estate office, you can learn so many different careers
Mhm.
because there are so
Yeah.
many, like we talk about every transaction has 17 people involved, minimum, right? That doesn't even count, the person who works at the nursery because you're going to do new landscaping and now you want to go get, you're going to get all new landscaping for your house. Like there are so many jobs involved. I think we have I think we're still 18% of the GDP is driven by real estate.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it's
We're
huge.
I don't know about that. We're kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Kind of a big deal. No, absolutely. I'm so excited you brought that up because I'm interviewing an intern on Friday with a
Very
local,
good.
a young man. He's a junior at the local high school, and we're interviewing him. And I've been interfacing with our HR department about getting him an email, like how do we bring him into our company for a short period of time so that he can learn things, do things, and be productive to help support
Yes.
our agents. And I'm really excited about it. Yesterday at our conference, I connected with two important people. One is Jennifer Pearson, who's our education director for our board, and my intern can take classes like our continuing credit classes,
Mhm.
he can take them. And so, and learn about real estate. That's part of his going to be part of his education in real estate. So, which is going to be great. Like I'm going to definitely, especially like the new stuff, I think like the implicit bias and cultural competency,
Yes.
when,
Fairhaven.
yeah, Fairhaven, we'll do that together. And I think he's going to love it.
Yes.
And then what was the other thing? Oh, and then one of the speakers yesterday, this guy from New Jersey, Stu, he has built a pre-licensing business to help people pre-license, and his focus market actually is like 18-year-olds, people just like finishing high school or just out of high school.
Mhm.
So so he and I are going to talk, and that was one of the big benefits for me for going to that. You go to this tech conference, but what did I do? I met somebody who is doing something that's right in the same line with what I'm going to be doing here very shortly. So it's like that
You
was
know,
probably a huge takeaway for me.
and, brings up in New York State to get your real estate license, you do have to be 18, but you
Mhm.
don't have to have a college or excuse me, a high school degree. You don't
Right.
have to graduate, you don't need a GED. I knew someone who was teaching GED programs, and we were talking about careers, and I'm like, real estate would be a great career. You don't need a secondary education to get into real estate, you know,
Right.
so I think that's huge.
It's experience, yeah, versus
Yes.
books, and experience is a lot. I think
Mhm.
makes me think back to being an English major at UB, taking reading the Canterbury Tales, and one of the Canterbury Tales, the wife of Bath, the wife of Bath's tale. The focus of her whole thing is the difference between experience and book learning. That literally is the whole discussion through the wife of Bath's tale. So go ahead, look it up,
Well, I
read it. It's
don't
a
know
good
that.
read.
But I do know that, real estate really is about experience. It's funny, I was thinking, I don't when someone asks me a question, real estate related, I can probably tell you 90% of the time, my answer is, "It depends," or, "I need more information."
Yep.
Because, a lot of times we get asked questions and we don't have the full story, which is what's so important to say, "Okay." And sometimes it's, "Well, what does your client want to do? Tell me the outcome that your client wants, and then we will craft a plan to get there." Right? And so much of real estate is like that. It is experience based. It is I
Yes.
mean, we talked a little while ago about all the things that can go wrong in a real estate transaction, not to scare people, but just to say, "Hey, you know, we've had experience dealing with these things. You don't have to worry because we've been through it." You know?
Right.
Um, like one of those examples, what if you find a gravestone in the backyard? What do you do? Well, it depends, right?
Right.
Depends. Am I representing the buyer, the seller? Did we know about it? Did we disclose it? Is it historical? Is it I mean, there's so many ways something like that can go. What if you
I've
find
never had that situation.
no,
Have
I
you?
haven't either. I think it
Oh,
happened on Long Island.
oh.
So what if you find uh, a suitcase of money in the attic a week after closing? What do you do about that? These are not real questions, and I have never had that come up.
Man, your career is way better than mine. Oh my god. Wow.
So,
What if I
you
find a
know,
suitcase? Well,
I don't know how we got on this topic. This is what
what
happens when you have
what
5
if I
Wednesdays
find
in
a
a month,
suitcase
and
of money?
we have potpourri week where we just get to talk about whatever we wanna talk about.
30th, yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Um,
and speaking of potpourri and talking about whatever the heck we want to talk about, I want to encourage everybody to either interface with the show either through Lisa's YouTube channel or through my YouTube channel, just because then if you write a question or you have a comment, I think we can see it. Which is, shame on you, Facebook, for changing this months and months ago. We can't interface with our audience as easily or as evenly, and it does make it a challenge. This is really what we want to do, and makes the discussion a lot more lively, and we think we can provide more value when we have a better way of interfacing with our audience. So
we can see a little bit,
if you're watching
like
this on Facebook, just open up a YouTube and go there. Get off
or
Facebook. Get to
or
YouTube.
type a comment so I can see that Carolyn is watching. I can see that
Okay.
Gina is, of course, watching. So
Of
thank you,
course.
Gina. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Gina.
Denise, Candy. So thank you.
Have you been to
Um,
any of Gina's concerts? Have you seen this girl sing?
not in a long time,
I haven't been to
but
one of
I
her
have.
shows yet. I'm really ticked off
Her
that I
shows
haven't
are
been able to
fun.
make it happen. Yeah.
Yes. And I've
So,
seen her at our Children's Free Care Fund event
right.
perform there.
Okay.
So she is fantastic. So yes, if you haven't seen Gina in her real estate career, check her out in her professional singing career.
I sang yesterday at the tech conference.
Did someone ask you to?
It was a contest. I was up on stage. It was like filler time between, they needed volunteers, and nobody wants to volunteer at one of those things. And I know that uh one of our view part of our audience is Jeremiah here in Rochester, and he was the MC for the event. And he's really good at keeping at doing fun things and keeping it going, and he needed some volunteers. And I always volunteer. And so they did so the theme was country music, not my strong suit. And they would put they'd play a part of the song, and then I had to either, if I knew the next lyrics, I had to try to sing them, or if someone in my section of the room knew the lyrics, they could tell me, and then I had to sing them. So yeah, it was not pretty, not pretty.
No
I
one
got
hired you after
No
that?
one hired me, but I got A for effort. I got extra points for effort, but I did not win. Michelle Woods, congratulations, Michelle Woods, for she sung a beautiful verse from a song. I don't even know what it was, but she sounded amazing. She knew all the words. And she just nailed it. So
That's very good. Congratulations.
it was fun, and she got a
And good for
trophy.
you.
I was so
And
jealous. She got a trophy, a freaking trophy, and it was
so you didn't
such.
get a trophy or a drone.
No, her trophy was like the size of this little card here. It was so cute. It was the cutest little trophy, but I wanted that trophy. Damn it. Our board is fun. Do you guys have a tech reboot tech thing? Do you give
Yes,
away
we do.
trophies?
I don't know if there's trophies. We had our
Mm,
Agents Day last week. That was
mm,
very well attended. They
okay.
encourage you to dress supporting your favorite hometown sports team. We have, I haven't heard who won. Last night was the Meatball Challenge, where that is one of our fundraisers for RPAC, that they have members who are great chefs and they have a
Oh,
meatball challenge, and they have celebrity judges picking the winning
mm,
meatball. You pay to go, you get to sample the meatballs, have some drinks.
mm,
It's a really fun event, and it's a great fundraiser for RPAC.
yeah. Okay.
So,
I wonder how that's a good idea.
yes.
Hmm.
So we'll have to find out who. I'm sure it will be out on I haven't signed into the MLS today,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they will be posting who the winners are.
Because you don't need like a chicken wing challenge, right? That's kind of played out a little bit. Let's do something
Mm,
different, right? Buffalo's more than just wings and whack. So,
yes.
yeah. Okay.
Very, very true. All right. Well, I have had a fun morning chatting with you, even though we
Thanks.
didn't argue.
How do you, Lisa, how do you want to be communicated with before the next show during the week? How do you want me to reach out to you? Do you want me to email, text, or phone call you?
Phone call.
You're a phone call. Okay.
My preferred form of communication is phone calls. And you know what I love? Leaving a message and receiving a message. Because half the
Voicemail?
time, voicemail. If someone calls and I can't pick up, I'm whatever. I mean, there are times where we all can't pick up the phone. If you don't leave a message or text me, I'm probably not going to call you back, because half the time they've gone on to someone else to get the answer to their question, or they didn't even intend to call me, right? Like, you'll call them back. Oh, I see, I missed a call. And they're like, yeah, I did. It was
Yeah.
accidental.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
and I also prefer, let me know what you want to talk about so I can be ready when I call you back.
Agreed. I like that. The reason you call.
Yeah.
We should just know that. Like, we shouldn't. One thing that when I call someone, they don't answer, and it takes a minute to get through their leave me a message. I'm like, so you just know your name, or the reason you're calling. Do you need to be called back? Yes or no?
And I don't mind, I know people sometimes will be like, if you don't answer, they'll send you a text. Hey, just need a couple minutes, and so I try to do that now.
Okay.
right? If someone doesn't answer, because I know I'm in
Right.
the minority with
Right.
wanting that voicemail.
I think text is my favorite. And oftentimes though, you read a text and you say, okay, well, like the thing I like about the text is then I know what I need to be ready to talk about when I call them back.
Yes.
And and usually I can't text the answer. I mean, you talk to my agents, they'll go, Chuck, you blah, 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 blah." I have a tendency to over explain. So I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better. I'm really just unless we have an appointment for a half hour training or something like that, I'm just answering the question. But yeah, I do like the text, and then I'll often have to call you back though.
Yes.
So, um, cool, 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 cool. Well, to Thursday, no, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's Halloween. Yeah, yesterday was National Cat Day. It was a big day in my house. You understand? I think today is probably National Black Cat Day or something, or
It is
tomorrow.
actually happy Diwali. It is the 5-day celebration of Diwali, and I have to say, sometimes when I see these holidays, I don't know enough about them to speak intelligently,
Sure.
and I still don't know enough about Diwali. But I did watch a little bit this
I don't even
morning,
know what are you talking
and
about? What is this?
an Indian celebration of, and again, apologies, lightness overcoming dark, a 5-day festival of light
Oh,
and celebration. So I can get behind that. So you can say happy Diwali. Certainly, we
okay,
have many holidays or things that we celebrate that are more somber, and you don't want to say happy in front of it. But
understood.
Diwali, a festival of light and overcoming darkness, I think sounds like a great thing to celebrate.
Okay,
So we should all
yeah.
try to learn a little bit more about Diwali this year.
Excellent. That's excellent. Listen to that. We haven't had that in a while. Lisa's mic drop moment. Lisa nails it. Lisa got a mic drop moment. We're gonna do a lot in my office in the upcoming months with Canva. That was part of our Reboot Tech conference yesterday. Was different integrations, different companies of Canva, and it was really a challenging thing to do in a setting like that. So we're gonna have some smaller groups in my office, but I hope to have some new stuff to share and talk about. As especially using Canva, getting your materials prepped for 2025,
Mhm.
right? So
And
what? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, oh, I love that the one day I jumped onto Canva, and in their little streaming thing up at the top, it said, "Hey, guess what? We've decided not to raise the price." So they must have gotten, because we were all, if you're
Yep.
a paid subscriber for Canva, we were getting messages. It was going up like, I wanna say like 80 or $100 a year. It was a big price increase. And
Wow.
then after a few weeks, it was this message, "Hey, guess what? We've decided, uh, to keep prices the same." So,
Wow.
kinda interesting and good for all of us. So if
That's
the price increase made you scared of getting the Canva Pro account, that's good news.
you're just full of good stuff today. Mic drop moments. Not raising the price. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, no comment left behind. If you have any questions, if you have anything you want us to talk about in a future show, put it online, put it on the Facebook chat, or put it on YouTube comments. If you have a friend you think would like to watch the show, tell them about us. Say, hey, there's these two goofballs, Chuck and Lisa, and you should watch on Wednesdays at 9:30 to 10
You
ish.
know what's funny too, in our choices of communication, what we didn't say was WhatsApp, instant messenger, like there all
Right?
the like how many times I have people reaching out to me through Messenger, through Facebook. So
Yeah.
send us a message even through that. It's kind of handy.
Right.
Um,
Perfect.
Chatting through Instagram, right? What do they call it?
Right.
Pebbling? Pebble us on Instagram.
Oh, I never even heard that. Oh, jeez. I have to.
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay. All right. Cheers. Cheers,
Pebbling is the
everybody.
positive side of breadcrumbing.
Oh, okay. I have a lot to learn. I think you're going to be the lead on the next show. All right, guys. Everybody
Yeah,
have a
put
great
in the
week.
comments if you know what pebbling and breadcrumbing is. We'll
Very
see
good.
who, if I maybe, maybe by the time I learn a term, it's already old.
Oh, geez. All right. I'll see you next week. Cheers, everybody.